Hey everybody, this is Bridgette Lynn-Dolgoff, Consciousness of Economics and Urban Farm Project YouTube channel. Anyway, I'm looking really scary this morning. So I decided that, I don't need any grief by the YouTube listeners telling me, I look terrible, I need some bling bling. Need some glamour. I live out of my van. So, my looks, it's not like my looks have gone down the wayside, but it's not the significant factor of my life. So anyway, I just wanted to show people this really beautiful gift. So I thought it would be a good visual image for people. So I wanted to talk about lately, two things. I keep hearing, the creator and spirits. And not that I'm, one to teach things, but I think because I've had so many gifted and wonderful, amazing teachers who have walked this earth, and I've been exposed to so much more, I think, than most people. I don't know. I get conflicted about what is my responsibility and what's not my responsibility. And lately, things have been coming up with friends of mine and clients and other people. And they're creating more conflict in their life by doing things that there are some basic principles that were established long before the white race came here, that were established by the indigenous people as, legal, verbal, written down contracts with the other beings who live on this planet, and they're trees and deer and bear. And people are getting themselves into a lot of trouble because they don't understand, and it's causing pain, physical pain. These things, that's karmic, right? If you want to call it that. But I call it, cause and reaction. And so every time I start seeing this stuff happen and I reach out to try to explain this stuff, and then I stop because I think, well, maybe it's not my right. And then I've been hearing a voice in my head saying, but they don't know. At least give them an opportunity to know. So I'm giving you an opportunity to know. The third thing is that lately, it seems like there's been a lot of people on the radio show carrying stones and digging holes that have bottom line 3-part principle. And since I'm more into the 4 and the 7 because of the path that I walk. Gosh, isn't that just the most beautiful beaded piece? So yeah. I was just kind of curious at how many strands it has hanging off the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it has 7. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, and then, yeah. So anyway, okay. So first principle, leave things where they are. Especially if you don't have permission, leave it where it belongs, because there are things attached to it. It may be where it's at that's important. For example, Babadoh, my teacher, said that, when this earth was created, everything was perfectly placed. All the crystals, the oil, the water, like everything was perfectly placed so that it would spin properly without any hitches. And everything like a machine would operate in perfection and balance. And we keep taking things. And so, when we take crystals and stones and things from places, we are kidnapping those beings And also, like, when you take things when people die. So the privilege of knowing about the Paiutes have a ceremony called the crying dance. And basically what it is when their people pass over, first, a medicine man is called in and they smoke it down. They sage the whole, building or area where the person was. And then they pull everything out into a fire, sacred fire, and they burn it so that, and whatever has to be left, say they have a spouse, then the whole house is redesigned. There are some items that are left, and then those items are redesigned in the house so that the person knows that they passed over. And so this is kind of, a tool so that they don't stay here and they're not stuck here. So in case they didn't know that they passed over, this will be a sign to them to be able to move on. So we start taking things and we start bringing them, they have energies, sometimes not good, sometimes demonic, living on them or in them, especially if they belong to other people and like antique stores. Just because you buy it does not give you permission to, take it. So leave things where they are, no matter how tempted you are. Sometimes I'll see, I've seen like $10 on the ground and I did not pick it up. Because the other thing too is, I know that there can be energy wars. There can be things attached to those things. And maybe it's put in my past, so I pick it up and then, I'm cursed or I don't want the energy on that $10 bill because I don't know where it came from. What if the person was really, really angry and he had it in his pocket and he was involved in an act of violence? That paper from a tree would hold energy. I don't want it. So I really have had to work in my life not to pick things up. Number 2, do not take too much. Do not buy more than you need. Do not hunt more than you need. Do not collect things more than you need. Do not hoard things. Don't go to the store and buy a whole bunch of meat and then, let it rot in your refrigerator and throw it away. It's disrespectful. Okay, so hold on one second. I have to go back. Ooh. Because I had a couple of these things written down. Okay, so third, never touch other people's stuff. It doesn't belong to you. And unless you ask for direct permission to touch things, for example, you don't touch medicines. I've never touched another person's drums or their feathers unless they said, hey, could you please go grab my drum and bring it to me, right? Then I would go get the drum and bring it to them. But under any other circumstances, would I ever touch relics or spiritual, stuff unless I was granted direct permission in order to do so? Because they do not belong to me. They do not hold my energy unless they are open to me touching them or carrying them or doing what I need. Which brings us to another point. You walk into people's homes and you start touching their belongings without asking them permission. Even if you're cleaning a house, you need to ask for permission. Is it okay that I touch the stuff in your house? Is there anything that you feel that's off limits? And you really need to control kids and keep them from, grabbing and touching things. Teach them at a young age. We do not touch things unless we have permission. All right. And, these have longer rabbit holes that we can talk about in the future. But, okay, so fourth thing, if you collect something, let's just say like a plant medicine, You need to offer that plant something, maybe a little tobacco, a little cornmeal. Make an offering to it before you touch it, unless you have a solid relationship with that plant or medicine, right? But going up and yanking on a plant is like going to another person and yanking on them, or grabbing them, or tearing their finger off or something like that. We just have to think about, how we're being. Okay, so if the plant, you make an offering and you talk to the plant and it seems that the plant is okay and in alignment, that you take some of its medicine, gives you the okay, then once you take the medicine, you have to leave the trade. You have to leave something. So, oops, somebody's calling me. I'm ignoring him. So what would I leave? What would I leave